Okay, this is lesson 5 on capital structure. So the incorporators, who are the incorporators of a corporation? Incorporators are the stockholders or members mentioned in the articles of incorporation as originally forming and composing the corporation and who are signatories thereof. So ang incorporators, these are stockholders na originally forming the corporation. Sila yung pinaka-original talaga na nagbuo ng corporation. And dahil doon, yung pangalan nila nakasulat sa Articles of Incorporation and then pinirmahan nila. And itong portion na ito, itong listahan mga incorporators, isa ito sa mga items na hindi na ma-amend sa Articles of Incorporation dahil hindi mo na ma-change kung sino yung mga nag-form ng corporation sa umpisa. Okay, this is one of the unamendable portions of the Articles of Incorporation. So ang kaibahan ng incorporators sa corporators, incorporators are corporators na original na nagbuo ng corporation. So hindi lahat ng corporators are incorporators. Pero lahat ng incorporators, of course, they are also corporators. So how many numbers of incorporators are required? A corporation may be organized by any person, partnership, association, or corporation singly or jointly, but the number of incorporators must not be more than 15. So if you want to form a corporation, dapat not more than 15. So any natural person, pwede rin partnership, pwede rin association or corporation na maging incorporated. Okay. So kung more than 15 kayo, gusto niyo magbuo ng corporation, 15 lang muna ang i-indicate sa class of incorporation. Yung additional na stockholders later on pwede na i-accept. Okay? Ang may limitation lang is yung pagbuo, 15 incorporators. But after that, kahit ilang corporators na magsali sa corporation, wala nang limit yun. Ang limit lang is pagbuo, dapat not more than 15. Pwede isa, dalawa, tatlo, hanggang 15. So what are the qualifications of an incorporator? So number one, natural persons acting as incorporator must be of legal age. So dapat at least 18 years of age in the Philippines. Number two is that each incorporator must own at least one share of stock. So, disqualified ang isang tao maging incorporator kung never siya naging stockholder ng corporation. So, at least one share of capital stock is needed. So, what are the exceptions? Okay, natural persons licensed to practice a profession and partnerships or associations organized for professional practice are generally not allowed to organize as a corporation unless otherwise provided under special laws. So, corporation generally cannot be formed for the exercise of profession. Kaya most professionals bumubuo na lang ng partnerships. So, one person corporation or OPC, this is a corporation with only one stockholder. And as such, he is one person corporation. Subscription requirements. So, stock corporation in the beginning, that is not in forming the corporation. There is no requirement of a minimum capital stock unless otherwise a special law requires a minimum capital stock. When you say subscription, ito yung mga uh, uh, express ng intention to acquire the stocks of a corporation when it is formed. So nag-subscribe sila. And since there is no minimum capital stock, yung subscription requirement is not indicated by law. So there's no requirement. Okay. This is in contrast to the old law kasi sa old law may 25% na minimum. But under the new law, there's none anymore. But in case of increase of capital stock, ito increase yung kanina yung walang requirement is pagbuo ng corporation. Pero pag nabuo ng corporation and there is a move by the board of directors to increase the capital stock, okay, the SEC shall not accept the filing or the increase unless accompanied by a sworn statement from the treasurer showing that at least 25% of the increase has been subscribed and that at least 25% of that subscription is paid in cash or in property. So yung may minimum subscription is from minimum paid na capital, yun yung sa increase of capital stock. Ang walang requirement, walang minimum is yung pagbuo ng corporation. Operator, ito yung life ng corporation. Hanggang kailan ba ang corporation? A corporation shall have perpetual existence unless its articles of incorporation provide otherwise. So, actually, when you create a corporation, you can indicate in your articles of incorporation hanggang anong year, ilang years lang siya, 50, 40, 10, 5, 50, 100, 200. But if there is no indication kung ilang years, it's considered perpetual ang existence. Okay. How about those existing corporations pagka nung nagkaroon na ng new law? Ano mangyari sa kanila? Sa previous law, wala perpetual existence. Under the previous law, generally up to 50 years lang ang corporation then renewable. But under the new law, limit yung life. Okay? It's either nilagyan nyo ng ilang years doon sa articles of incorporation or hindi nyo nilagyan so perpetual siya. So pagdating ng new law in 2019, lahat ng existing corporation, okay, shall have perpetual existence na. Kahit na nakalagay na doon sa kanilang noon ang life kung kailan ang term ng corporation. So when the effectivity of the revised corporation code came, perpetual existence is already the general rule. Unless the corporation, upon a majority vote of its outstanding capital stock, notifies the SEC that it elects to retain its specific corporate term. So, kapag hindi sila nag-signify na i-retain nila yung corporate term nila under the old law, okay, pag hindi sila nag-signify under the new law, magiging perpetual existence na ang corporation nila. Of course, the corporate term can also be extended or shortened. Okay. So a corporate term for a specific period may be extended or shortened by amending the articles of incorporation. But no extension may be made earlier than 3 years prior to the expiration date unless the SEC determines the justifiable reason. So 3 years before the expiration ng corporate term, pwede na mag-extend. Okay? But not more than 3 years. Okay? For example, the term is in 2029. So 2026, pwede ka na magpa-renew. But not in 2025 because that is more than 3 years. The extension takes effect on the day following the original or subsequent expiry dates. And dissenting stockholders shall have the right of appraisal in case of corporate term extension. Yung mga stakeholders na against sa extend ng corporate term, they can exercise the right of appraisal. And what is the right of appraisal? The right of appraisal is the right of the dissenting stockholder who have his shares of stocks appraised and paid so that he can already leave the corporation. Revival of a dead corporation. corporation whose term is expired may apply for revival, which, upon approval by the SEC, grants its perpetual existence unless the application specifies otherwise. So, uh, yung revival happens after the expiration, not before. Okay? Yung before sa expiration ng term, pwede magpa-extend. Pero pagtapos ng term, gusto mo mag-extend, ipa-revive mo muna. Okay? So, classifications of shares. The classification of shares, their corresponding rights, privileges, or restrictions, and their stated par value, if any, must be indicated in the articles of incorporation. So take note, ang classification of shares dapat naka-indicate sa articles of incorporation pati ang kanilang par value. Shares of stocks in corporations may be divided into classes or shares or series of shares or both. Each share is equal in all respects to every other share except as otherwise provided in the articles of incorporation and in the certificate of stocks. So it is under the doctrine of equality of shares, lahat ng stocks pare-pareho ang rights and privileges. They are considered equal unless sinulat sa articles of corporation and sa certificate of stock mismo, dalawa yun, dapat nakasulat sa articles at sa certificate of stock kung ano yung kaibahan ng isang share sa iba. Okay? It may be that merong common shares saka merong preferred shares na may lesser privileges and rights. Dapat nakasulat distinction not only in the articles of incorporation but also in the certificate of stocks. So ano itong preferred shares? Preferred shares may be given preference because the word preferred. So yeah, preferred sila. May preference sila in the distribution of dividends and or the distribution of corporate assets in case of liquidation along with other possible preferences. So dahil ang preferred shares ay may preference, una sila palagi sa pag-distribute ng dividends. Or if the corporation is being liquidated, una sila sa distribution ng assets. Kaya sila preferred. So preferred shares, it is required that they must be issued only with a stated par value. Okay? So hindi pwede no par value ang preferred shares. Dapat merong stated par value. And sa preferred shares may be deprived of voting rights. So pwede alisan ng right to vote. Common shares. The common shares, ito yung klase ng share na it constitute the fundamental class of shares. Most shares are common shares. Okay. And it is mandatory that there shall always be a class or series of shares with complete voting rights, like common shares. So common shares have complete voting rights. And what is the scope of voting rights? No share shall be deprived of voting rights except those classified and issued as preferred or redeemable shares, provided that there must always be a class of or series of shares with complete voting rights. Okay? Meron ding tinatawag na redeemable shares. Itong redeemable shares naman, such, kasi may word na redeemable, yung according sa articles kung kailan siya pwede i-redeem. Okay, it's different from the preferred shares. And most of the time, these redeemable shares and preferred shares do not have voting rights. Except lang sa common shares. Common shares always have complete voting rights. Holders of non-voting shares are nevertheless entitled to vote on the following fundamental matters. So generally, ang mga preferred shares, mga redeemable shares, they do not have the right to vote, mga common shares lang. But in case of these matters, pwede ay dapat nagboto din ang mga non-voting shares. Example, when there is an amendment of the Articles of Incorporation, may right to vote ang mga non-voting shares. Okay? Do not be confused with the word non-voting. Non-voting sila for any other matter except this one. Pag ito ang pinag-usapan, mga non-voting shares dapat mag-vote din, entitled to vote din sila. Number 3, this is an adoption and amendment of bylaws. Sale, lease, exchange, mortgage, pledge, or any other disposition of all or substantially all of corporate property. So pag bibenta mo na lahat, iprenda, may right to vote sila kasi this involves the very existence of the corporation. Creating or increasing banded indebtedness. So pag mag-increase ng utang na bonds, okay, may right to vote ang non-voting shares. Increase or decrease of authorized capital stock, merger and consolidation of corporation, investment in corporate funds in other corporation or business, and the dissolution of the corporation. So itong items na ito, pati ang non-voting shares dapat bigyan din ng entitlement to vote. All other issues, hindi sila pwede magboto except this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So non-voting shares can vote on these matters. So except for these specific matters, the vote required under the revised Corporation Code to approve a particular corporate act is deemed to refer only to stocks with voting rights. Okay. Founder shares. Ito na ito ang founder share. Founder shares may be granted certain rights and privileges not enjoyed by owners of other stocks. Okay, yung founder share, yun yung mga shares of stocks ng mga founders. And sometimes they are given an exclusive right to vote and be voted for in the election of directors. But when this is granted, it is limited to a period not to exceed 5 years from the date of incorporation. Hindi pwede forever na lang silang may exclusive right to vote and be voted for. Ang limitation is not to exceed 5 years from the date of incorporation. Okay, this exclusive right is disallowed if its exercise violates specific laws like the Anti-Dummy Law or the Foreign Investments Act of 1991. Okay, redeemable shares. So these are shares that may be issued by the corporation when expressly provided in the articles of incorporation. Ano naman itong redeemable shares? These shares may be repurchased by the corporation from their holders upon the expiration of a fixed period. And this repurchase can occur regardless of the existence of unrestricted retained earnings in the corporate books. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Yung iba kasing repurchase ng shares, pag binibili balik, pag ang corporation bibilhin ulit yung mga shares na inisyu nila, dapat may pera sila sa unrestricted retained earnings. Except itong redeemable shares, there is no requirement na kailangan may unrestricted retained earnings sa corporate books bago ma-redeem ang shares. Kasi nga, at the first instance, sa umpisa pa lang, mga redeemable shares can be redeemed upon the expiration of a fixed period, whether or not meron unrestricted retained earnings ang corporation. So redeemable shares are subject to the terms and conditions stated in the articles of incorporation and as well as the certificate of stock, subject to the rules issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission. And of course, redeemable shares may be deprived of voting rights just like preferred shares. What are treasury shares? Treasury shares are those shares of stocks that have been issued fully and paid for, inisyu na ng corporation at nabayaran na ng stockholder, but they are subsequently reacquired by the issuing corporation through purchase, redemption, donation, or other lawful means. So pag nabawi ng corporation yung shares niya na na-issue sa mga stockholders, whether binili, ni-redeem, dinonate ng stockholder or other lawful means, yung stocks na hawak ng corporation na issue niya dati will become treasury shares. Treasury shares may again be disposed of for a reasonable price fixed by the board of directors. Okay, pwede rin pa rin i-reissue yun sa ibang stockholders. But the price must be fixed by the board of directors. So as long as shares remain in the treasury, they shall have no voting right. Of course, kasi wala pang may-ari yun kasi nabawi ng corporation ang shares niya. So wala siyang voting. Walang yung shares na yun na nasa treasury had no voting rights. Treasury shares are explicitly excluded from the definition of outstanding capital stock, obviously because they are not outstanding, they are being kept in the treasury. In closed corporations, the preemptive right of stockholders extends to the reissuance of the treasury shares unless the articles of incorporation provide otherwise. Okay. Itong preemptive right kasi, ito yung right ng mga existing stockholders na mag-subscribe doon sa mga stocks na i-issue pa lang ng corporation sa ibang tao. So before i-issue sa ibang tao yung stocks ng corporation, dapat i-offer mo na sa mga existing stockholders. Okay, so in the case of a closed corporation, yung closed corporation is a corporation that is owned by a limited number of persons, and then mayroong mga restrictions as to the the subscription of shares. The preemptive right of the stockholders in the closed corporation extends to the reissuance of treasury shares. So pag ini-issue yung treasury shares sa closed corporation, dapat i-offer mo na sa mga existing stockholders. Unless, of course, the articles of incorporation provide otherwise. That's the end of lesson 5.